Hey everybody, we're just a couple days away from the Chicago Marathon. I am out here to do my last little workout, but really just keeping my legs awake out here on the track in Beacon. And I literally walked out the door and found this box on my doorstep. And I know what it is, so maybe we'll do something fun with it today. Okay, so first things first, what am I doing? I always do threshold miles right before my peak marathon. It's actually starting to rain, unfortunately. And what I do is, it's really just to keep the legs awake. Normally I do my threshold miles with 1 minute of rest. We do 2 minutes of rest, so that way I get extra rest in between. It's not really about working out. It's not about getting that threshold run in and improving fitness. It's just about reminding the legs after this taper that we're still looking to go fast. We're still looking to, perform on race day. So that's what today's about. The shoes I've got here are the Adidas Prime X Strung. And these just came in. I'm gonna treat them, they're apparently very different than the Prime X, so I'm gonna treat it as an entirely different shoe. I will review it. Maybe what I'll do today is actually do one of the miles in my Vaporfly that I have on now, and I'll do one of the threshold miles in the Adidas Prime X Strung. All right, so if we're gonna do this, I figured I should warm up in them, so I've switched into the Prime X Strung. And first impression, they feel okay when I get moving, but they're tall. I mean, I don't know if you caught how tall they were when I put them on. They are tall, and you feel it right away. But they're a firmer ride too. They're not quite like the Zoom X foam. It's firmer, so you're really standing up there. But I don't feel the ground. I don't feel the energy rods. And they're getting us moving, so they're not unstable. It just feels weird because you never are in a shoe this tall when you're running. We'll finish the warm-up, jump into the threshold miles, and I just thought it would be fun to compare how the two feel. The Vaporfly Next Percent 2 and the Adidas Prime X Strung. All right, that's the first threshold mile in the Adidas shoe. Feel pretty good, close enough to the target. It's really easy to go over your expected pace or faster than what you want to go for your threshold mile because, we've been tapering. I've been tapering for a marathon for 3 weeks. My legs are fresh, so came in around 7:54 per mile that lap. Perfect. My heart rate didn't go above 160. I didn't go too fast, so I think my body is showing that it's fresh. And I don't think you need to see the laps in the Vaporfly. I'm gonna finish this workout. It's just starting to rain a little bit more. So we'll get this over with and head back inside. I like the shoe. I guess a few quick points. It's definitely firmer than Zoom X foam, which again, I always race or have always raced generally in the Next Percent 2, 1 time or 2 times in the Alpha Fly. And definitely stiffer, definitely firmer, but the Continental rubber on the outsole, it's tried and proven, even on this wet track around the turns, at threshold pace, no issues. It actually feels very stable. It's a little bit wide. If you were thinking about getting it and you have a very narrow foot, be careful. I don't think you can really size down because the length is true to size, but I think just because it needs a little bit extra stability, it does have a wide outsole, and it also brings the upper out pretty wide. So even for me, I feel that extra width. So good for big footed people, good if you like a little firm ride, and you'll just have to stay tuned for my full review coming up soon enough. I think this is gonna be, for me, what I expected, a nice long run shoe. a shoe that's able to protect our foot, cushion us a little bit more, and we can do our workouts, do our long runs, do our harder efforts, and just feel better faster. And hopefully that'll help me get better as a runner myself. So we'll put this back in the box. I'm gonna do the last lap in the Vaporfly just to compare and just do it for fun. I'll see you inside. Okay, so I have to say, after putting on the Vaporfly Next Percent 2, although they've been compressed, you know, they have some midsole compression that's been going on. Those shoes have over 100 miles in them. I just talked about how much they've actually changed as far as, you know, the stack height really being reduced, but they felt like racing flats, like old school flat, low to the ground racing flats after those Prime X Strung. So very interesting difference putting them on one after the other. It's going to be nice to have a fresh pair of Vaporflies for the race actually on Sunday. Now, like I said, we'll talk more about that in future videos, talk about the Prime X Strung, but for now I want to jump into where I'm going to be for Chicago on race weekend, you know, shakeout runs, Expo, that kind of thing, just in case, you know, anybody wants to come and say hello. So for me, based on where I'm going to be staying in the hotel, you know, the location and plans for things I have to do on Saturday, like the Expo and whatnot, I am actually choosing to go to the Tracksmith Shakeout run, which is going to be at 9 a.m. on Saturday, October 8th. So the day before the race, 9 a.m. shakeout run, you know, 3 miles or so, 9 a.m. from the Tracksmith pop-up. I'll put the address on your screen in a little snapshot from Google Maps so you have an idea where that is. And, you know, like I said, people have been in the comments hoping that they see me, so I just wanted to provide some information on where I'm going to be. I was hoping on doing something either with Kofuzi, like just joining his run that he has planned. There's some other stuff with Heartbreak Running Company, with Kira Diamato, who's going to be there running in the shakeout as well. So lots of different events. You can definitely find stuff, check it out online, Google, you know, what's going on Chicago race weekend, but that's where I'll be. That's the shakeout run I'm choosing, again, just based on my location, not wanting to travel around too much or walk around too much because this is a peak race for me. So if you want to come say hello, don't hesitate. That's where I'll be doing my shakeout. Now, after that, I will be going to the Expo, so probably around 10 a.m. or so, we'll finish the shakeout run. I'm going to hop on the train and go down to the Expo Convention Center area. I'll probably be there between, you know, 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. in the afternoon that Saturday, October 8th as well. So if you happen to run into me, again, feel free to say hello. I'll be there for a couple hours, just exploring, taking a look at everything that comes at the Expo, the store, whatnot. You know, again, if you run into me, please feel free to say hello. Then on Sunday, I will be in the hospitality tent. It used to be like the Bilbao hospitality tent or something like that, named after the road that it's on or the cross street that it's on. I think there's a different name, like the Skyline Hospitality Tent this time around, but that's Sunday morning. It opens at, I think, like 5:30 a.m. There's breakfast, speakers, all kinds of stuff, bathrooms for just the group that's going to be in that hospitality tent. If you happen to have done that as well, again, even though it's pre-race, feel free to say hello to me. This is not the first marathon I've ran, so I like to stay loose, keep things light, talk to people, just treat it like any other day, and then it just kind of helps clear the mind when we go out and do what we set out to do during the marathon itself. So again, don't hesitate to say hello if you're in that hospitality tent with me on Sunday morning, as well as if we're in the hospitality tent after the race. There's, you know, massages, lunch, things like that, drinks. Again, feel free to say hi. We can congratulate each other. That's where I'll be before and after the race. And I'm in Corral E in case I haven't talked about it. So Wave 1, Corral E. Again, if you see me in the corrals, I'm not really someone who gets like super focused right before the race. I just like to keep things light and loose. Once we cross the starting line, that's when I get into my zone and just try and zone out. Now, post-race, one last thing I'll probably do that I know ahead of time is the Tracksmith after party. The Tracksmith pop-up, you know, like I just showed you, is very close to the start and finish line for the marathon itself. So I think around noon, it opens up for the after party. There'll be some drinks, some events, probably some speakers, and it should be fun as well. The New York City pop-up was pretty cool in 2021, and it's just, again, close to my hotel, so I can change, shower, and head out back to that after party. Those are going to be your best bets if you wanted to stop by and say hello or just run into me out there on the streets. So thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and give me a thumbs up if you made it this far in the video. Hope to see a bunch of you out there in Chicago. Hope we all have a great race, and let's just get out there and do it. Have a good one.